Hey everybody! In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you an easy way to add structural elements to your gel prints. If you've ever had a print that you thought the colors were beautiful on, but that it lacked focus, this video will show you how to very quickly and easily add structure and interest to your gel prints with supplies that everyone has. I have a few cards with these today so that you can sort of see the difference between an unfocused background and a focused one. I'm starting with some 5x7 cardstock, and I'm using some delicate surface tape. I'll link you to this in the description below. I love this tape. I use it to hold my dies down when I'm die cutting. And I use this handy dandy little tool to tear neat edges on the edge of all my tape, my washi tape and the tape when I am doing this technique. So I have a couple of these prepared. These also happen to be the sheets that I have pre-cut for me for my stamp set inserts. And they're the same size as my gel press, which is 5x7. Now I'm marking these on the back for which is going to be the first generation and which will be the ghost print. I have stencils today from Neat and Tangled, from Visible Image, and from Altenew. Now here's my golden open acrylic, which I'm going to use today, and you're going to find that because of the technique that I'm doing, I'm going to get some interesting effects. Golden open stays open a little bit longer, meaning that it stays wet a little bit longer. That was my cat, Splotchy, who apparently would like to be featured in this video. Hi, Splotchy. Get off my desk, buddy. So I'm just covering the plate with teal. This is just life with cats, people. It happens. It's probably very similar to having children. Now I'm placing the stencil down. And the stencil is smaller than my gel press, but it doesn't matter. You can pick whichever orientation you want, just depending on how you have your tape on your paper. And I grabbed the first gen one because first I grabbed the ghost print one. And this is why I write notes to myself, but as you can see, it doesn't always work. So I'll just pick up this teal paint with this first one, and then leaving the stencil in place, I will go ahead and grab a ghost print, and it's the tape that's going to give us the structure in the background. And you're going to see what I mean in a little bit, because my third print is the unfocused print, and this is the way that all of us typically print. We add design element after design element and layer and get all kinds of interesting yummy stuff in the background. And I just wanted to show you the difference between adding what I consider to be kind of an architectural feel to the gel print. This is one of my favorite colors in both watercolor and acrylic. It is Indian yellow. It's such a beautiful color. It's particularly wonderful if you're doing anything landscape related or to do with foliage. It's like a sunshine, a ray of sunshine on a leaf, all in one color. Next is the Visible Image stencil, which I will just layer on top, and I did pick the right piece of cardstock. It is my first gen, and this one has some details, so kind of get your fingernails in there and make sure you pick all that up because it has just gorgeous thin lines. And you can see how well those two colors pair together. Now here I'm making a terrible mistake and I'm removing the stencil. But, hi Splotchy. But I caught myself. Oh, hello. And I'm putting it back. It doesn't really matter if it's in exactly the same place as it was when I set it up the first time, because this is gel printing. It's unpredictable, as is my cat, as you can tell. So ghost print, rub that all down and pick up the beautiful Indian yellow pigment. I don't know if you can hear this purring, but I'm trying to just keep him quiet by patting him, and so he's purring really loudly into the microphone. So we'll see how well my Yeti holds up to cat purring. So I'll do the same thing with the unfocused print. I'm going to clean my plate with it every single time. And now we'll get a little bit more color on here. I'm adding Quinacridone Magenta. Also one of my favorites. I'm actually not sure where my big giant tube of this is. It should be nearby, but it's not. It's gone walkabout. I probably left it at my sister's house, which is where I gel print a lot. Yes, splotchy, I know. I know. I understand. And I'm going to add, instead of the Indian yellow, I'm going to add Hansa yellow this time. This is an opaque yellow in the golden line. And if you look at that little mark on top of the tube of paint, I have another cat invasion, you'll see that there are diagonal lines that you can see on that Quinacridone Magenta tube. And that is to show you the transparency of the paint. So you'll notice on the teal and the Hansa yellow that you cannot see those diagonal lines because both of those colors are opaque. And I like mixing opaque and transparent colors in gel printing because it gives you that combination of both layering color and opacity. So we'll see what this looks like. This is always very dramatic when you add the magenta, since magenta plays well with both the Indian yellow and the teal. And now I will use the more ghosty print for a second generation. Even though these colors are so saturated, there's not a huge difference between my ghost print and my primary print, but there is when you see the finished product. Apparently the cat is going to be here for the whole video. Sorry. So I will do the third one again, and this is where we'll really get all the detail from all the layers onto the unfocused print. Pull that one off, and you can see that is a gorgeous background, and that's what I normally get when I am gel printing. But I want to show you what it looks like with the addition of the tape. So I'll peel off this tape, and I noticed when I was done with this and I was sort of cleaning up my desk that the tape was beautiful. So I actually saved the tape and let it dry, and I'm going to use that on another project because even though there's a little bit of orange print on the tape, it's still, with the paint on top, you can't really tell what it says, and it just sort of becomes a color, and I really ended up liking it. So you'll see that this delicate surface tape is very easy on my white cardstock, and it gives me nice clean lines, but we're not done. So I wouldn't want to leave this much white space for what I'm trying to show you, so we're going to continue to print. Now, one of the things about a structured print like this is you do want to leave a little bit of white space. It's that sort of contrast, high contrast element that makes the structural elements pop out a little bit. So I'll be using a very large open stencil for this last step so that I do preserve some of the white that's left in the masked portions that were underneath the tape, but not completely white. Just enough to show you the geometry of those stripes and give it sort of a direction. So now I have all the colors playing together again. It's really hard for me to use any colors but these three because I just find this combination so pleasing that I tend to be sort of a one-trick pony in the color combination part, but that's okay because it's pretty and I like it. So I'll take the first generation print. I'm going to go in the same order again, just so that you can see all three. I'm rarely this consistent, but I really wanted to show a design feature instead of a technique this time, so I'm trying to be good. And now you can see exactly what I mean. There's like an architecture to that print that is missing in the third print that I've done without the tape on the cardstock. So I'll pick up the ghost print. This stencil, as you can tell, is one of my most beloved stencils. I have probably used this in every gel print session I have ever done. So there's the ghost print, and now we will do the final version, and this is so beautiful on the plate. Oh my goodness. I could let that dry and do all kinds of fun stuff with it. But I'm going to pick it up, and then I'll show you the difference between the first two prints and this print, which is beautiful in its own right. I love it. It's chaotic and fun. But look at these and the organization that it lends. Now inside each of these squares, because it was open acrylic, and you'll see it better in the photo, I actually got dendritic textures in those squares because I was working wet paint into wet paint. Now, speaking of paint, I want to talk to you about this miracle product that my sister had me clean my brayer with when I was printing at her house last week. I had like a skin of paint on my brayer, and I just worked on it a couple minutes with this miraculous soap, and it became completely clean. So that's my tip for today. So here are the projects again with the unfocused print and the focus print, so you can see the difference. I hope you've enjoyed this and the guest cameo by Splotchy. Thanks so much for watching.